CodingPhase.com. Your boy's back and I done did it again one more time. What's really good, guys? Hopefully you guys are doing great. Hopefully you guys are doing amazing. You know me, I'm doing all right. How's everything? How you guys doing? What you guys is up to? Okay. Today's topic, I wanted to talk about AI automations, man. It's super powerful, man. You know, right now I'm actually working on a new career path on codingphase.com for AI automations, and I've basically have gone pretty deep into this topic and just the tools that's available. Like, it's crazy, right? I was talking to one of my students on codingphase.com on Wednesday. We had a meeting, accountability meetings, which now are being made on Wednesdays. And basically, we was talking about how you could use AI, right? And just setting up automations for businesses. Like, I give you an example, right? We joke around about developers now becoming plumbers. And it's like, bro, you don't have to become a plumber if you can't find a job. What you got to do is you got to start serving plumbing businesses, right? And solving their problems. So one of the issues that most small business owners have is to get clients, right? To get customers to sign up. One of the things that you could do is you can use AI to basically, in a sense, build them a website, right? Get them up and running. You can use AI again to then from there create content that's targeted to their specific niche and their specific area. And you could do this all programmatically. So, for example, for you to be able to rank on, let's say, Google or even most AI search engines or AI platforms like ChatGPT's, Perplexity, and there's a million of them out there. You can use AI to create the content that needs for that. Well, they need to be able to rank, and that's just one way that you could use AI. Like right now, I see people that is complaining about AI. It's like, oh my God, this, and that, AI slop, and this, and that. Bro, this is the future. This is where we at, right? Most people don't have the budget to pay for a social media influencer to go in and create content for them and promote their business or create blogs, right? Or even create email newsletters. You can now use AI and set up those automations for that business to help them, get more customers, get more leads. And it's actually pretty simple. There's a lot of good tools out there that you guys can use and affordable, right? Which is good. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, if you want to use like something like Nano Banana from Google Gemini, right, to create advertisement. And again, this is another thing that you could do, right? You could create the advertisement. Let's say right now this plumbing service needs to go in and run some Facebook ads. Before, they will have to go in and pay a designer or pay a photographer or pay for, stock images. Now you can go in and generate all of that with AI. So you as a developer can be a one-stop shop. Like, you can create the content, you could create the images, you could create the videos, you could create the advertisement, you can even create the user generated content that is required for them to actually rank or to pop up in social media, etc. So there's so many different opportunities that you can go with, using AI and automations for a business. So I think a lot of people is gonna kill it, right? Some people is gonna complain because, let's be honest, there's a lot of developers that, that were pretty much code monkeys, right? Code monkey means like, hey, we give you the task, we give you a ticket, you go in, you solve the problem that we tell you to solve, right? Right now, you can go in and be a one-stop shop. You can go in and solve pretty much everything for a business because not everyone has this technical skills. I see people that are beginners using AI. Like, let's say, for example, like a marketing person. They don't know how to use APIs properly. They don't know how to set up automations properly. They know their business. They know well, their job, and they have expertise in marketing, but they still now have to go in and learn how to use all of these tools. For us developers, we create those tools. We know how to do all of these things. We know how APIs work. We know how to set up certain automations between, I do a request to this API, this API sends me a request back, we connect it to this other API, then that API sends it back to us, we create a user interface for them to go in and see the whatever it is that they wanted to create, right? We could create batches, like let's say for example, create an advertisement that might have 100 different images. We can do all of that in pretty much, like, it's not that hard. Like, we pick that shit up like this, right? The average person doesn't know that because they don't really dive deep into just how the web works. We know how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? We build the web, we build what people use. So at the end of the day, it's like we have an advantage. Now, you can be one of these people, these dinosaurs that complain about, man, I can't find a job, or it's very competitive, or very this, and that. It's like, bro, you have a skill like a carpenter. You could build your own shit. You don't have to work for somebody. Especially nowadays, like, there's a lot of opportunities for us. Like, we could build software as a service, we could freelance, we could be one-stop shop agency, like, literally. And all it takes is just learning a couple of extra skills. So you don't have to go in and hire a designer. You don't have to go in and hire a marketing person. You don't have to go in and hire a photographer. You can go and do all of those things. When I used to be freelancing, I remember I used to be getting a lot of clients from like Craigslist or sometimes Upwork. I will have to go in and then from there hire like a designer to help me with certain designs because I might not have the time. I have to code, right? Nowadays, I could go in and get the design directly using AI. There's a bunch of tools to help you build, a really good looking website and get you started, and then from there, we build the technical side of it behind it. Shout out to everybody in here. I see a couple of you guys. By the way, guys, there's a two-way conversation. If y'all want to hop on a conversation, just leave a message there. I will go in and answer your questions. Let me see. I see a couple of people in here. I see Manuel. What's going on, Manuel? I see Symbol. What's going on, my guy? It says, I don't understand people who say go work as a plumber or do Uber or Starbucks. You telling me we know how to code, build system, work with database, CMS, AI, and the only job we can get is Uber? I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with Uber, right? Or any job at all. Like, if I'm in a situation where I got to take care of my family, I'm going to work whatever job it is. And I recommend for you guys to also do the same. The thing is that you have skills that you can put to work for yourself. You don't have to work for anybody. That's just the facts. People be forgetting this, but it really comes down to the fact that there's so many developers that just focus on the technical side of things. And I see it all the time because I go on, like, let's say on X, and I search for indie hackers, or I find, like, guys who are building software as a service. And a lot of times I'll be looking at their apps, I'm like, bro, like, 50,000 people is doing the same app. Or I see people are building shit that nobody needs. It's like, you're trying to solve a problem that people don't have. And it really comes down to the fact that a lot of engineers and developers, they focus so much on the technical side, but they miss the whole point of solving a problem and doing research. That's one thing that I love about the fact that when I came into this game, I didn't come in as a developer or like, hey, I want to become a developer. I came into the game with the mindset of how do I make money online? And that helped me go into the space of affiliate marketing. It helped me find, e-commerce. Then from there, I jump into the space of development, right? And even when I went to school and I was going for my degree, my bachelor's, I didn't choose to go for computer science because I'm like, I could learn how to code and do all of this stuff on my own. But what I can't learn on my own, it's really communication design, right? And communication design really comes down to a whole bunch of different things. It's how you solve problems with design. Okay, this is where UI, UX, web design all comes down to. All right, because a lot of these people that focus on that type of career, they focus more on the problem, right, and doing the research than actually building. The building part is the last thing. For most developers, what we usually do is, and I include myself, right, because I'm a developer, right, um, is that we start coding before we even start doing research. We start coding and building things without even, really finding out like what the customer wants. What is it that we're trying to solve, right? Sometimes we focus so much on like, should I be using AWS? I be using Google Cloud? Should I use Netlify? Should I use Vercel? Should I go in and use Angular? Should I use framework like React? Or maybe I'll use Vue? Or maybe should I go in and even though I might be a better PHP developer, but let me challenge myself and build it with Rust, right? So now, not only do you have to build the application, but now you're learning a new language, right? You're learning a new language as you go, and it might be good. It's good for learning purposes, but when you are trying to run a business, that shit is irrelevant, right? That shit is irrelevant, right? If you know a specific language and you know it by heart, in a sense, and you're gonna be able to build things much faster with that language or that framework, stick to that language and that framework. That's it. That's all you have to do. Because what you really care about is getting customers and getting clients. You don't really care about, what framework you should be using. Like, that should be irrelevant, right? I mean, the client themselves don't care about that shit. Like, they're like, okay, this looks nice, this looks good, right? And that's it, and it works. That this shit is built with React or this shit is built with Angular, like, they're not going in there. They don't have the little Google extension, the Google Chrome extension where it shows them what technologies is in there. Like, they don't care about that shit. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares about that. And I see that a lot of times people, they focus on the wrong things. And that's why I feel like right now, I'm seeing in this space of development, like so many people with this negative thought. And it's really because now the coding part is no longer special. I just saw a tweet yesterday of some girl talking about, she feels lost. And shout out to her. She's a pretty cool person, right? I follow her. But at the same time, I'll be thinking in my head, I'm like, coding is not even the part that makes you special as a developer, right? It's really about solving the problem. All of the different things like the languages, the frameworks, the deployment services, whatever it is, all that shit is extra. That's like a little extra thing that we use, but we need to be focusing on solving the problem, right? And now with AI, like, we have all of these tools where we can bypass through all the boring parts. We don't have to be going in and, for example, like email development. Like, I love email development just because it works, it makes money, right? And also too helps a lot of people get their first job. But in reality, as you learn all of these tools, right, you start noticing, like, when you build an HTML email, the worst part about building an HTML email is really coding the email itself, right? Like, having to use tables, having to test it out, make sure that it works with, this email client that also works with this other email client. Like, that part sucks, right? The testing part, all of that, the writing the HTML tables, it sucks. And you still got to learn it, right? I wouldn't suggest for you guys to go in and be like, well, hey, Joe, I'm just not going to learn it. I'm just going to use AI. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time because even AI has a hard time to create the things that you want. But if you know what you're doing, you could go in and set up certain rules. You can go in and actually hand code certain parts of it whenever the AI is just struggling. Like, if you have to go in and run a prompt 3-4 times for the AI to go and do it right, at that point you might as well go in and write it yourself. And that happens a lot, right? But yeah, you know, writing the tables, and there's a bunch of stuff like, you know, when you're building components, like setting up the validation, setting up the state, setting up this and that, like all that shit sucks, right? That all of that part sucks. Like I've never cared about that shit. I've never cared about it. I do it because I have to do it to solve the problem. But now with AI, I can go in and solve all of that problem, right? And it helps me get to 90% of the way. Then from there, whatever extra I have to do, I just do it manually to save me some time. Okay, let me see, reading through here on the chat. Email development is still good. Yes, email development is still good. It's not going nowhere. Guys, keep this in your head, right? Do research on the things that help a business make money, okay? I could give you, you know, a couple of points. Number one is having a good product. Number two is presentation, right? The design, the look of it, the feel of it, right? If a product looks good, the presentation is looking good, it makes the customer feel like it's premium, okay? Now, the next step is, how do you get customers to come and buy your product? You need to go in and run advertisement. Advertisement is not everything, right? Because you could see an ad on YouTube or TikTok. That don't mean you're gonna buy right away. You need to see it multiple times. So you might have to see it in a couple of touch points. You might have to see it on a YouTube ad, a TikTok ad. You might have to see it on a website when you're scrolling and looking for whatever thing you're looking for, and then you see an ad of that specific product. Then from there, you might have to go in, and once you sign up, like let's say you almost buy it, but you're like, nah, should I buy this shit right now? You know, maybe you're scrolling, you're taking a poop in the bathroom, you see an ad on advertisement on Instagram, you sign up for the thing, but you don't really go the whole way and put your credit card in. Next thing you know, they got your email. So now with emails, they can go in and basically help you out in that process of making a decision. This is where you warm up the audience, right? Which is one of the things that I do, okay? So most of you guys know I have CodingPhase.com, right? When you see me here, you might say, well, who is this guy? Why should I even pay attention to him, right? As you hear me talk and you hear the topics that we talk about, you start noticing that, you know, I'm somebody that knows a little something, right? And I've been doing this long enough, right? And you could probably relate to me and you say, man, if this guy could do it, shit, I could do it, right? But that doesn't mean that that's gonna help you make the decision to come to CodingPhase.com and sign up. You might have to see an advertisement. You might have to go in and go to the website, sign up, and maybe you didn't put your full credit card in, you didn't put all of your information in there, but guess what? We got your email now. Now I can go in and give you more details on the things that we do. That will help you make the decision to then from there decide if you want to come to CodingPhase or not. No one buys something on the first time that they see it. So emails is super important to every type of business. It doesn't matter what you do, emails is very important. It's the same reason why you still get bullshit email and spam email, and not even spam email, but just mail in general. There's a reason why you get mail on, you know, on your letters. You'd be like, what the hell? They sending me this thing about, you know, this new insurance or this new credit card or this and that. That shit still works. We could send it to 1,000 people. Out of those 1,000 people, you know, 10% to 20% of people will go in and sign up in whatever it is that you're selling. So that's the same concept for emails. It's just digitally, right? So at the end of the day, email development is not going to go anywhere. It's actually going to go in and evolve even bigger than what it is now. Now we have this other things called push notifications, right? which is another thing that you might see. You go to a website and the website asks you, hey, do you want to get push notifications? Or you download an application, you buy a product, a t-shirt, whatever it is, and then from there you get push notifications on that. Guess who also sets that up? It's the emails developers, right? We call it email developers because we focus a lot on email development. But once you work at the job, you're learning about all of these tools. How do you set up SMS messages, right? Most of these companies, they're expecting now for people to come in and help them out with everything that has to do with the marketing side, because there's people who are strategists, right? So you might have like a marketing specialist, which is the person that might be, focusing on the social media, focusing on what goes on the website. It's a mixture of like web administration, mix of social media management, and email development, right? But the email developer, what you really are, is a technical individual that works in the marketing department. Okay, look up this keyword, MarTech, MarTech. This is the future, right? This is where you have things like Klaviyo, MailChimp, ConvertKit, Constant Card, Braze, Drip, what's it? Movable ink, immovable ink. I always forget. It's one of the two. Ink movable ink or movable ink, right? Salesforce, ServiceNow, right? There's a bunch of different things, right? And in reality, when you become an email developer, you're just becoming like the technical person in the marketing department. The same way how there's tech support, right? The person that comes in and resets the password, connects the DNS system, connects the network in a business, in a company, all the phones work, right? The different extensions. Guess what? There needs to be a technical person for the marketing department. The guy who's the marketing strategist, when he goes to school and he studies marketing, they're not teaching him technology stuff. They're teaching him how to do the research on a user, how to find out how to run advertisement, how to run ads, what's the psychology behind marketing, how do you get customers to come in and purchase your products. That's what they're learning. They're not learning the technical things. But nowadays, we have to mix marketing and technology together. But if you don't have that technical skill, we could still use what you have here and what you study, right? But guess what? We can't ask you to now from there also learn how to code and also learn how to use Zapier and also learn how to go in and do Facebook ads and set up Google Tag Manager and go in and learn HTML, CSS. Bro, it's too much shit. It's too much shit to learn for one individual, right? That's why when you guys see a job listing that goes in and tells you, hey, we need somebody who writes copy, knows design, knows Adobe Creative Suite, knows email development, knows SMS and text messages, right? That knows how to do push notifications. They're not going to find somebody who knows all of those things. It's a wish list. They're listing about 10 things, right, from 3 different type of jobs. Now that company might need 60% of that for someone to know at least 60% of that, and then they give them the job. And a lot of stuff you will learn on the job, right? But I can tell you guys right now, like, it's impossible for you to learn everything. It's like me, like I know so much shit that it amazes me sometimes. I'm like, damn, man, if I didn't get paid for this, there will be no reason for me to learn all of these things. Like, imagine this. I mean, I could do front end, back end. I could design. I could go into marketing. I know how to run Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads. I know how to fucking, do Adobe Creative Suite. I can go in and create things with AI. Like, it's a million freaking things. And we're not even going into the details of languages, softwares. Like, bro, the only reason I know all of these things is because I get paid to know all of these things. When you work at a company, you get paid to know about 5 different skills within that job. I have to know a whole bunch of different things. Now, again, I enjoy that because it really helps me out to be a one-man team in a sense. Like I could run my company just by myself without having to hire anybody, without having anybody to come in and do something. And when I do need extra help, I can communicate with a designer. I could communicate with a marketing, person. I could communicate with a developer, right? Because I know this whole spectrum. But the truth is, do you need to know that? Hell no. You just need to focus on one specific niche and about 4 or 5 core skills for that specific job, right? Everything else you will learn it within the job and over time. As you come into a company that will give you more responsibilities and you will learn more skills within that job. But you don't have to learn everything. And it's too much. It's too much for one person to just go and learn every single thing because, most people, it wouldn't make sense for them. You know what I'm saying? It's like me. Like yesterday, I spent, all night going in and going into NAN, right? Or NA10. I think that's how some people call it, right? And just going into that whole space and diving into how to, build advertisement at scale, how to go in and run a TikTok user generated content. Like I created, this past month, I created an account. It's a social media account where I basically have a girl, some random girl, it's an AI generated girl, right? It looks very real, right? And all she's promoting there is basically talking about being a teacher. Now you might say, what the hell, Joe? What the hell are you doing on your off time? Well, remember, guys, I have an agency, right, where we also sell products on Etsy, right? So by me going into the space and seeing how a lot of these guys that do this within drop shipping, within the space of TikTok shop, right? They go in and create all of these accounts, and then that brings traffic, right? Now, I started doing this in the beginning of the month. One of these accounts already has 10,000 followers, right? 10,000 followers, right? Stay at home moms, teachers, right? A bunch of girls. Now, why is this important, right? So, for me to sell this products, this digital products for teachers and for like stay-at-home mom who are teaching kids, right? Teaching at home, right? By me going in and creating the social media account, I could get traffic into my Etsy store. If out of the 10,000 people come in and let's say 500 of them, let's say 1,000, just to keep the number simple, right? By me doing that work that took me about a week to actually get done, and then now I just have it automated, creating content all the time, bro, literally, like, that's gonna bring me in at least 500 to 1,000 sales for this year. We already have some sales. I think I saw like 60 sales for this month alone. Now, I'm not looking at it like, hey, I want this account to be popular, be famous, whatever. No, it's like when you go in and you search on TikTok or Instagram, you know, activities for teachers, activities for kids and studying at home, stay at home moms, this and that. When you search those keywords, this content pops up, which connects them to the products that I have and I'm able to sell. Now, like what I'm saying with this is like the average person doesn't need to learn all of this shit, but you need to learn it if you want to run a business, right? Now, this skill that I have, I can go in and start selling this service to someone else. I already have the whole system set up. I already have all of these things already ready to go, and it's just plug and play. This is the same thing that we're covering in this new AI automations career path on CodingPhase, where, you know, that's what I'm really gonna be focusing on all 2026, right? It's gonna be, right? This is the path, right? Someone comes to codingphase.com, they wanna get into the tech industry, right? They wanna get the first job. You need to learn how to code. You need to know the foundation, right? Once you learn that, You then from there need to go in and learn how to use AI to help you become more efficient. Those things that you could do for a business, right? And a company that you're working for, you can go and build it with AI. But then from there, when you come out of work, you can sell those services to other people that might need your services. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we're going into the space with AI automations, right? I'm still debating if I want to call it AI automations or AI engineer, right? Or I'm still thinking about the title for it, right? But it's really a combination between AI automations and using AI tools to help you become more efficient as a developer, right? So that's the new career path. But yeah, freaking dove super really deep into this thing, to really go in and be able to teach it to you guys with real results. Like if I can get results for myself, I don't want to go in and teach it to you guys. Like if it wouldn't make sense, right? That's why I take my time with the courses and the career paths, right? And I only go in and have things that's working now. Like you see on CodingPhase.com, we have a bunch of courses on full stack development. But why am I not talking about full stack development? The truth is that when people come to CodingPhase, they trying to get a job. Right now, getting a job as a full stack developer, it's hard, right? There's not that much results for new students and new people getting into that space. But where there is a lot of results is still in web administration, Shopify development, email development, and AI automations. So when you go to CodingPhase, even though we do have a bunch of full stack developer roles and like developer, freaking courses, and we have a React course, we have like 4 or 5 React courses. I'm not promoting that because I want you to go in and get results. Like when you come to CodingPhase, I don't want you to sit your ass for a year, 2 years waiting for somebody to give you a job. I want you to get a job as soon as possible. So I focus on the things that's going to get you higher, because if you got money in your pocket, I got money in my pocket. That's the truth. If you don't got no money in your pocket, you're going to look around like, yo, I got to get out of here, Joe. This shit is not working. And there's no results for me, right? But if you come in and you say, oh, shit, I'm going to learn this thing. I'm learning. Oh, shit, I'm actually learning. Oh, shit, I could actually build this. Oh, shoot, I'm applying to jobs. Oh, I'm getting interviews. Oh, great. Oh, I got a job. Now, when you go in and you get this job, you're like, oh shit, this guy's legit. Let me still, continue working with him. Let me see what else he could put me on, right? So that's why I'm focusing a lot into AI automations, because that's where the jobs is at right now, okay? And also too for freelancing and for opportunities. I focus on the now. I'm not one of these people, or like a boot camp that, their program is written in stone, meaning that it's gonna be there. Like right now, somebody goes in and be like, well, I'm signing up to a boot camp. And they'll be like, well, we're gonna teach you the merge stack, we're gonna teach you React, we're gonna teach you this, and that. And they're gonna teach you some shit that was hot 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 3 years ago, right? Right now, it's not hot. Right now, you're going to struggle. You're going to be out here looking for a job for a long time, right? They don't get paid for you to get a job. They get paid for you actually signing up to a loan and catching you one time for a nice little $4,000 or $5,000, $10,000 lick. Now, if you didn't get a job with that, that's not their business. Their business was to just show it to you, right? For me, it's different. Right? When you come to CodingPhase, shit, you didn't get a job. Hey, what you gonna say? Well, Joe ain't teach me shit. What Joe was teaching was garbage. I didn't learn nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I have to go in and make sure that you actually get results. So that's why I stick to things that's actually getting people hired. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Zach in Texas. Bro, building websites is an old thing now. You can build websites in seconds. Yeah, you could build a bullshit website in seconds. But if you don't know how to actually code, you don't know what you're doing with AI. I could go in and tell AI, build me a website for me to sell a product and connect it to Stripe. I could do that. But guess what? That website might not be secure, right? Because most likely what the AI is going to do is going to connect it to fucking, what's the bullshit, a database that people be using when they vibe code. Damn, I forgot the name of it. It's not Firebase or some bullshit like that, right? So yeah, I mean, if you don't want to learn how to code, that's totally fine, bro. You don't have to, right? Well, at the end of the day, you're not doing this shit professionally. You just someone trying to vibe code some bullshit. And when people go in there and hack your account, it is what it is. Now you go in and you have to hire a real developer, a real engineer, somebody who actually knows how to code, right? So that concept of like, man, building websites is old. Yeah, you have to be one of the dumbest motherfuckers that's in here in this group. I'll be honest, because it just doesn't make sense. Websites are not going nowhere. What we're gonna have? Fucking wearables. I want to order a T-shirt, bro. we're not in 2099. You get what I'm saying? This is still 2026. So where you gonna have to buy a fucking product? You're gonna have to go to a website. Sometimes I'll be reading through the comments. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit too rough, but it's like sometimes I'll be thinking, I'm like, yo, some individuals, I'm like you, Zach Intech. I'm like, bro, like, do you even do this shit professionally? Do you even get paid for this shit? Do you even run a business? Do you even know how any of this shit actually works? Do you understand how the industry works? Websites is not going nowhere, bro. It's like, what are we gonna be doing? Hey Siri, hey Siri, buy me this. People don't use that shit. It's the same thing as mobile apps. People, there was a couple of years ago when people was like, yeah, mobile apps is done. And I see nothing but people making money with mobile apps every single day. Mobile apps are even hotter now than ever before, right? So sometimes you got to start thinking before you write, before you say some shit, because it just shows like you don't know anything. Now, again, you might say, well, Joey, of course you're biased. You got your own business, right? And your business is to get people to come to CodingPhase.com, sign up to your service. And bro, to be honest with you, I don't care. I do it because there's people out here that want to get a job. And guess what? I provide that service. But for me, like, I wouldn't even listen to an opinion of some random person on a comment section telling me, yeah, websites is not going nowhere. It's like, bro, like, do your research. Even with developer jobs, go look up what's the expectations, right, for developer jobs in the next 10 years. Where's technology going? It's like when people were saying, hey man, software engineering is going to be dead in the next 6 months. Mind you, NVIDIA's hiring engineers right now as we speak. Every company hiring engineers right now as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to do the work? This shit is not gonna, we're not gonna have robots over here doing everything by next week. And even if it was to the point where everything gets automated, somebody gotta service that shit. Now, it's up to you if you wanna be the person that be like, yeah, bro, I'm not doing this shit because, you know, in the future, none of this shit is gonna matter. Well, cool. So stay doing whatever you're doing. You could be an Uber driver. You could work at Walmart. You could work at whatever warehouse you're working at and continue doing that. And I could tell you, a person that comes in now in 2026 is going to have a way better 10-year run than you. Because even if everything is automated, those people that already have that experience, that's already in the game, those are the people that's going to continue having a job. 10 years from now, we might not see that many jobs popping up for new people. But then, hey, if you got the experience, you've been doing this shit for 10 years already, yeah, you good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it's up to you. I'm not here to convince you to do some shit that just makes business sense. You know, it's like sometimes, that's why I tell you guys sometimes, it's like, yo, you know, when you create products for the let's say civilians, right? You kind of have to convince them of doing something that's good for them. That's why when you go in and create tools or services for businesses, it's white and black. There's no gray area. There's no opinions. There's no nothing. It's just like, hey, does this shit make me money? Okay, great. The average person, you have to go in and convince them to do some shit that's good for them. And you have to explain to them, it's like, bro, like, even if shit goes left, right now, if you can make $100,000 a year, that will put you much better than the average person that's out here. That builds your capital. You know, right now, there's people that's like, man, I can't even afford a house. Well, if you would have listened to me 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, right? Like I tell my friends, I was talking to my friend last night. You know, I love him, but he's a thinking. He's like, yeah, man, this rent is killing me here in New York. You know, they just raised my rent to $2,700, and I'm like, bro, that's what you will pay for a mortgage. Yeah, but you know how it is. You know, you need to have a big down payment. You need to have this, and that. Your credit needs to be really good, da da da. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's why I fucking told you 10 years ago. Learn to code with me. I'm gonna help you out, and I'm gonna help you find a job. Like sometimes, you know, you could go and give all the tools and give everything to somebody, and you could love them, but if they don't want to do something good for themselves or don't even understand how the world works, you can't do much. There's only so much you could do for that individual. You know, it's like, what's this kid's name? Zach in Tech. Websites is, what is it? Bro, building websites is an old thing now. We can't do much for somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? What you're gonna do? You're gonna be building robots? You're gonna be building fucking AI models? Like, come on, bro. I mean, again, with all due respect, bro, what I'm saying with this is like, yo, sometimes you gotta understand how the world works. You gotta understand how, you know, opportunities is right in front of you, and those opportunities come every 4 or 5 years. Like the opportunity to become a quick front-end developer, that was 2017, 2018, 2019, right? That shit came and went. And the people that came in and listened at the time, they got a bag, right? I give you an example. 2020, 2021, there was a huge opportunity with Shopify development. Why? Because everyone was at home. Everyone wanted to become an entrepreneur. Everyone needed a Shopify website, right? And a bunch of companies were hiring because they were also switching over to Shopify. Those people that listened, they're good now. I know so many of my students that be like, yo, Joe, thank you, man. Because of you, I got a job. Because of you, I got my car. I got my dream car. Joe, yeah, I got the same car as you, Joe. Yeah, Joe, I just bought my house. Now, if they would have came in and be like, bro, building a website is an old thing now. In 2021, 2022, yeah, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in now. You know, sometimes we make excuses for ourselves. And even we listen to people that's trying to, in a sense, play you out of your own position. You know, it's like I remember when I started learning how to code, right? There were so many people that were saying, learning how to code is so hard. You know, you gotta know this, and that. And they made it seem so difficult that so many people that tried or was even thinking about trying, they just gave up and said, nah, I'm not doing this shit. It's the same thing that you see now. There's people that right now that'll be like, man, yeah, man, AI is taking over all of this shit. But mind you, they're still coding. Mind you, they still working as an engineer. And it's the same YouTubers that you guys fucking follow. I don't follow none of those clowns, right? Because I know the game. I know the behind the scenes. I'm not a regular user. You know what I'm saying? A regular user is searching for information and don't really know how none of this shit works, right? Some of these guys know how this shit works, and they still push certain topics and certain things to get paid off views. I don't care about getting paid off views. I get paid for my student success. When they make money, I'll make money. When everybody here is making a bag, guess what? I make a bag. If you come into CodingPhase.com, right, which is my main business now, my goal is to get you results as quickly as possible. So I have to be the one staying up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, doing the research, talking to hiring managers, talking to recruiters, creating fake profiles, creating fake resumes, LinkedIn resumes, so I could see what's going on, which jobs is actually responding back, which ones is not responding back. I get paid for this shit. You have to understand that. I'm not a regular user. This is part of my business. This is like somebody that goes in and be like, well, his job is to recruit basketball players for the NBA. That guy, he has to look at every high school. Doesn't matter if it's in Louisiana, Mississippi, Los Angeles, it could be in Chicago, it could be in Nigeria. He needs to be on top of who are the best players in fucking high school, so we could recruit one of the best players and we could have a better success as a team. That's what that guy gets paid for. I get paid for helping people actually go in and find opportunities and get into the game. If I didn't get paid for this shit, I wouldn't even fucking be doing all this research and finding all these things out and spending time, you know, in the nighttime going over all of this shit, learning a bunch of extra skills that's required. Like, I don't even work for a company. Like, I give you an example, right? Like, I don't even work for a company. I don't use Braze. But I had to go in and learn Braze and learn how companies are using Braze and why is it that they're using Braze, right? I don't use that shit because I don't work for a company. I work for my own company. I use my own tools. But I have to learn all of those things to be able to go in and give a really informed, you know, opinion on this. Again, I give you a great example of how serious I take this. I started coding in 2011. Professionally, right? I didn't make a YouTube channel till 2016, 2017, 5-6 years after already being in the game, because I never been able to be that person to go in and be like, I'm gonna jump on social media and talk about something that I just don't know about. That's how serious I take this shit, because anybody could pull your card and be like, yo, you don't know nothing. Anybody could do that, right? That's why when I go in, I see like a junior developer talking about some shit, I'm like, yeah, man, he's young. He just got here. He don't know nothing. I mean, I give you a great example. There's people right now that you go in and you ask them about email development. There's guys that have 10 fucking years in this game and have no idea that email development even exists, which is kind of fucking blows my mind. How can you be an engineer or a developer at a company and not understand how the fuck your emails get sent for the products and services that you've been building for the last 10 years? I know people, which I'm not naming them, that they know Rust, they know Elixir, they know every fucking bullshit that you could think of, right? But you go in and you ask them, hey, what would be the first thing that someone should go in and learn to find a job in 2026? And they will tell you, well, you know, you should learn front-end development, you should learn some React, you should learn some Node.js, learn some Prisma, of course, learn some Next, right? Learn how to use authentication, right? How to go in and use Postgres. You know what? It could be even better. Instead of using Postgres, maybe you should use CouchDB, or maybe you should go in and use whatever fucking super base new fucking database is out there, right? And they have no idea that people that's actually learning that, they're sitting down for 6 months, 9 months, a year and a half, right? Without finding a job, with only getting 3 interviews in a whole year. That's the results that they're getting. Now, of course, they wouldn't know that because they have a job. Their job is to do that, to go in and learn Node.js, Express, etc., right? React, because that's what they do on their job. But that would be the wrong person to take advice from, because he don't get paid to go in and figure out what's going on with the industry. His point of view of the industry is what he sees. he has no time to really pay attention to everything that's around him. So yeah, so when you say, bro, building websites is the whole thing now, you pretty much don't know shit about this thing, bro. And again, I'm saying that respectfully. Because you have to be authentic to literally now understand how websites and web development like literally runs the world right now. Shout out to everybody in here. I ran through here. Let me see. Joe is on the money, guys, with AI automation and engineering. Roles becoming popular and great alternative to your typical software engineer role that everyone applies to. Yep. Let me see. Your CodingPhase senior front-end developer with 5 years experience. Been following you since day one. Okay, when it started web development. Let me see. He says, Lucky Packer says, how the fuck do I make millions? Well, very simple, okay? If you want to go in and make millions of dollars, okay? I'm telling you from someone who has made millions of dollars, all right? And been doing this shit for over 10 years. You have to solve a problem, okay? Now, when you solve this problem, right, you have two options. You can target the general population and solve their problem. Now, when you're targeting the general population, you will have to build a product that's affordable, that solves their problem, right? And it could be anywhere from the price of $20 to $100. Now, that has to be on a recurring revenue, okay? It's not a one-time payment. Now, you can go in and also target business owners, solve their problems. That right there can be from $50 to $500 a month. Now, the difference between working with the general population and working with a business is that you're gonna have to go in and get a lot of sales when you're creating a software or a service or product for the general population, right? For example, like for me, like always bring it down to me because I could give you, for example, from my real life, right? CodingPhase.com is between $30 to $100 a month, right? So if I want to go in and make $300, 10 people have to buy it. But if I create a service that business owners use, I could go in and charge $150 for that service, right? And I only have to sell it to 2 businesses, and I'll make the same $300. So once you have that information and you understand how this works, then now you have to go in and do your research. What can you solve? With the skills that you have, what can you solve, right? You don't have to go in and even be a full stack developer. You can create a digital product, you could create a service, you could create a bunch of different things, right? To go in and get you to become a millionaire. The goal is to have some type of recurring income that you can continue to grow. Again, I'll give you my example. When I first started CodingPhase, right? CodingPhase, I was basically doing it for $5. And the reason why I do it for $5 at the time was because I needed to have proof that what I teach and the way how I teach works. So I had to make it basically at a price where I just break even, okay? But over time, over the years, right, CodingPhase has grown, right, and has gotten to the point where we even had, you know, at some point, 14,000 members on CodingPhase.com. Now, calculate 14,000 times 20, right, at the time, right? By 2023, we cut down because it just gets too much. When you're dealing with so many people, so many customers, like, it just gets to a point where it gets very hectic, right? But, you know, yeah, you want to become a millionaire, you got to solve a problem. What problem did I see? The same problem that I had, which was when I was learning how to code, all of these people was teaching it in a way where it seemed difficult. No one was putting themselves in your shoes as a new beginner, and no one was really doing the research. Like, I give you an example. Like, I had gone to was it Lynda.com at the time, right? Lynda.com, right? Old school. If you're old school, you know who Linda is. She. So I was on Lynda.com, and Lynda.com was still talking about jQuery when Angular was already out. And I'm like, wait, but this don't make no sense. The jobs are saying that, the jobs are asking for Angular, experience and Angular knowledge. Why are they teaching with jQuery? This don't make no sense, right? Same thing that's happening right now. You go to a boot camp, they're teaching about fucking React and Node.js. It's like, they're great technologies, but the truth is the jobs is not there. They got to update their curriculum, all right? So I say, how do I solve that problem? I have to go in and teach all of these skills. I busted my ass or 2017 or 2018. By 2019, we was profitable. I used up all my savings. It's risk that you have to take. I used up all my savings to be able to sustain myself for those 2 years till 2019 when it became profitable. And we hit a point where it switched, right? Where we went, I think it was like from 2,000 to like 5,000 customers, right? At that point, it started growing. By 2020, different ball game. 2021, different ball game. Then from there, I realized that, you know what, there's boot camps charging $20,000 for stuff that is outdated and not really getting people results. Let me create the Tech Accelerator. The Tech Accelerator fucking makes a killing, right? The Tech Accelerator is pretty much like a lifetime membership. Give you all the courses, the whole path, everything that you need. I'm solving the problem for somebody who's new, saving them money, and at the same time getting them results. So if you could do that, doesn't matter if it's for regular folks or for businesses, you could become a millionaire, okay? And that's it. Now, once you become a millionaire, that's where the fun part comes in. You need to know how to manage your money. You need to know how to do investments, right? That's the thing that I was missing, right? So we've made millions of dollars with the businesses that I have, right? But one thing that I learned over the years, right? 2023, I got hit with a hurricane. I got wiped out, bro. I got wiped out, because you can make $1 million. You actually keep around 600, right? So I always kept money around, always kept money in savings. I always spend money in. I'm one of those guys that when I go out with you, I pay for everything. I take care of everything, right? Hurricane comes in, hits my house, destroy everything. I had to go in, rebuild my house. I'm thinking my insurance is gonna pay for it. Insurance didn't pay for shit. So I had to go in and spend around almost $250,000, which might not seem like a lot, but $250,000, I could have bought another house, right? My money stuck in my house, right? All my bread is stuck in my house. My equity stuck in my house. What did I do? I sold the home, right? But before I sold it, I said, I gotta train myself. I gotta go in and learn the skill of investment, because clearly something I did wrong, in the sense of, if you have all of this money, why do you have it in a savings account? It looks good. It's good when you go in, you look into your accounts, and you say, whoa, shit, I got $1.5 million in there. I got $1.3 million. I got $2 million in there. And it's great. It's a great feeling, because when you go in and you swipe that MasterCard, you say, hey, man, I got the American Express, right? The big boy joint. You could buy anything. I could buy a car. I could buy a house with the card, right? Top credit. But when you have this money, you have to also learn, and same way how you learn how to code, you also got to learn about investments. You got to learn about all of these things so your money can grow. And that's the thing that I did in the last 2 years. So yes, you're looking to become a millionaire, looking to get to the next level. But one thing that I will say is, you also got to prepare for when those millions come around. You need to know about investing. You need to know about the stock market. You need to know about gold, platinum, silver, all of these things that's assets. Right now, we're going into the space of the have and have-nots. That's why, I get annoyed when somebody comes in and says some dumb shit where it's like, yeah, man, you shouldn't even be learning this because you're not gonna be able to fucking find a job, or fucking AI is this and that. It's one of the dumbest things that I fucking heard from people. Because what's happening right now is like we have a good 10-year window. The people who have experience and it's already in, we're in. Like I'm good. Like right now, if I want to find a job, I'm good. I could get a fucking $150,000 plus job whenever I want. I'm set. You know what I'm saying? I got savings, I got fucking money, I got investments. I'm good. Now the question is, are you good? Right? So if you're not good and you don't set yourself up to have a good 10-year run, you're gonna get wiped out in the next 10 years. Shit is gonna go crazy right now. And it's not, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it's the facts, right? Money's not gonna be worth what you have, what you think it is now. It's gonna be just like what happened in my home country, the Dominican Republic, where, you wanna buy a soda, it costs you 80 pesos. So it's like, you wanna buy a 2-liter soda, it's gonna cost you like $30, $40. So that means if you don't build your wealth now and you don't own assets and you don't know how to fucking invest, you're gonna get wiped out. The people that know how to do these things, they're gonna be good. And that's where there's gonna be this huge divide, because there's not gonna be this middle area where it's like the middle class, where you say, well, man, if you work one job, you're gonna be good. No, that shit is not gonna happen no more. That shit is gone. That shit is done, right? So now what's gonna happen is like whoever has shit, the people that own houses, the people that own properties, that own businesses, we're good. The people that don't have that shit, it's gonna get ugly. You don't want to be one of these people. Now, why are these people in this situation? A lot of times because they don't want to risk anything. They don't want to invest in themselves. They don't want to learn new things. They're always finding excuses to give up on shit. While some of us understand that everything in life takes work. So if you're gonna have to work hard, and let's say right now I worked at fucking Walmart, I know I'm gonna have to wake up early in the morning. I know I have to fucking do my job, and I'm gonna come home tired. If I'm gonna do that shit, I'm gonna do the same shit at a job that's gonna pay me a lot of money, so I could set myself up and have investment and have assets, so I could go in and I don't have to do that shit in the next 10 years after that. You get what I'm saying? So right now you're in that point where you want to become a millionaire. How do you do that? You need to learn the right skills, and you need to learn how to solve people's problems, right? Or create a product that other people want. Like, it doesn't even have to be development. Development is one thing. It's because that's what we know, what we like, right? But the truth is, you could go in and create, the best vitamin water, and you could sell that shit. The money is in selling. The money is not in consuming, right? So always remember that. Now, if you know how to make clothes, shit, make clothes. But now you got to compete with fucking all these big brands and all this stuff. So you got to learn skills that will give you an edge. And once you do that, you create a product and services that you could sell to the masses. That's how you become a millionaire. It's very hard for you to become a millionaire without actually having a product or a service that you provide to the world. Because what you're doing is people are trading their money, people are trading their time for money, and they're trading that money that they spend time to accumulate, and they're giving it to you so you can go in and you become rich, or you become, wealthy, etc. But they're trading that for something. So now, what can you create that's worth somebody going in and say, I work 2 hours, right? For example, right? I use myself as CodingPhase, right? When somebody comes in and says, well, Joe, I get paid $25 an hour. Why should I give you 1 hour of my life, right? Which is that $25, and go to your platform? Well, I could help you get into a new job, help you leave that bullshit job, teach you some skills that you could go in and use for yourself, and you could grow. You could do the same thing that I did, create your own businesses. It's a skill that right now is hot, and you could grow exponentially from here. Now, if you see the value in that, you say, shit, I'll work for 1 hour out of my job, and I'll trade it for that, subscription. If you can't create something that solves somebody's problems, that gives a transformation, that gives something to that individual is not going to go in and pay for your service or your product. And if your shit is a scam, you're going to get one-time payment and you never see that person again. But if you're solid and you have a good product, right, that person's always going to come back to you. And whatever product and services you create, they'll trust you to provide them with something good on the same level of the service that you provided them before. That's how you become a millionaire. It's that simple, okay? It's nothing difficult. It's not hard, right? Once I understood that, shit, I've been on easy mode. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, money doesn't buy happiness, but it makes things a little bit easier. Because again, just like I told you, when shit went left for me in 2023 with just my house and all this stuff, thank God I had $500,000 in there, right? Cash. Thank God that I've always paid all my bills. I have all of my shit on, top notch. You know what I'm saying? Like the last time I checked, my credit score is above 800. I have a 99% on time. I only have one time that pay late, and that's because the company did a mistake. Like literally, like I show you my credit and you be like, damn, how the fuck for the last, 15, 20 years, you've never paid late on, like everything's on time? Yes. And that's because I go in, I bust my ass. Everything that I do it, to the fullest and making sure that I deliver on it. If you lend me some money, I'm paying you back beforehand, right? So all of those things is like qualities that help you become a millionaire, right? One thing that I will tell you is, definitely do not get into bad habits. Don't do drugs. Don't abuse alcohol. Don't do none of that shit, because that shit sidetracks you. Sometimes we try to use that shit to escape, but I can tell you in life, you gotta eat it up. You can't use things that cloud your mind, because your mind is everything. If your mind is cloudy, you can't solve a problem. You can't go in and create, because you're drunk, you're fucking high, you're whatever, you're leaning somewhere. Okay? Now, when you got bread and you're chilling, get drunk, get high, do whatever the hell you want. But when it comes to work, you gotta have that consistency. And that's it. That's what everyone that has made millions of dollars have, and they understand. It's about what you provide to the world, and it's about giving more than what you take. That way people always come back to you. One of the reasons that you see right now, people will get mad like somebody like Elon Musk. They're like, oh, why is Elon Musk the richest man in the world? Well, he's the first person to fucking create electric cars that actually work. He has a system where they're gonna be able to use all of those data that those cars have to be able to help automate pretty much everything else in the world. Like he's providing some shit that's gonna change the world. You know what I'm saying? That's like Con Edison. Con Edison came in, brought the electric light bulb. He changed the world. Of course he has to go in and be a billionaire or a trillionaire. You know what I'm saying? It's what you give to the world that makes you that bread. Once you understand that, and you understand like, okay, I gotta create some shit that changes everybody's, perspective, or gives them a result. Like the people who created Ozempic, right? Ozempic, that shit makes billions and billions of billions. You go in and take that shit fucking, you lose weight. You know how many fat people in the world? How many people have been trying to lose some weight? Now they got Ozempic, right? So they supposed to have mad bread. Same thing with McDonald's. Whoever created McDonald's or whoever owns it, right? That shit is everywhere. They serve thousands and thousands and millions of people every fucking day. So you want to be a millionaire? You got two options. You got to do start with like, how do I go in and divide this? Like, let's say, for example, To make $1 million, you need 1,000 thousands. 1,000, a thousand times. All right? And you do the same thing. You divide it, and you divide it on a monthly basis. You say, hey, man, I want to do this for the next 12 months. How do I go in? How much is it that I got to make on an average on a daily basis? It's the same thing for me. Like when I do trading, my goal for trading is just an extra $100,000 a year, right? So an extra $100,000 a year comes out to around, I believe it's like $400 to $500 a day. Okay? So that's my goal. If I make $500 a day, that's an extra 100,000. My portfolio continues to grow. I put it in ETFs, and then from there, 10 years from now, that $100,000 average that I've been having now is going to a next level. Now you have more money to play with. If you're making 20% on $1 million on a yearly basis, you're getting paid $200,000. Now it's just compounding. That's why people say, well, the rich get richer. It's not that the rich get richer, it's just they got the money for when the opportunities come in. If you don't got that extra bread, or you don't have that extra way to make some extra money, it's a wrap. You're not gonna be able to get to the next level. That's why I'm constantly trying to grow. You see me, I'm over here, I'm in this, you know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in a good area right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I get here? By busting my ass, working hard. Like right now, when I finish the live stream, my kid's playing over here, playing some ball, hanging out with his friends. When I leave out of here, I gotta go in and go home and go work. Go work on all the things that I need to do, digital products, services, code a couple of things. Before I go to sleep, I do research on what I'm gonna do for the next day. And on Saturday, I'm working again. And on Sunday, I'm working again. I give myself about 4 hours a day of rest, and my rest is really just to hang out with the kids and hang out with wifey. You know what I mean? Once you gotta do your services as a husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. But all day, I'm just working, bro, because I have goals. The worst thing that you could be in this world is somebody without goals and dreams. And you gotta complete your goals first to be able to get to your dreams. Your dreams is something high. Like my dreams is I wanna have a house in Mallorca, the south of Spain. Do I have the money for that shit? No, right? You need to have like $10 million, $20 million to be out there. That's my dream. But every day I have a goal to make a nice $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. When I get to that point, I'll complete my dream. For now, I gotta complete my goals every day. SAAH, service as a husband. Yeah, that's why I love you, bro. Bro, tripping, yo. We gotta chill, bro. I already know, like, me and you, we'll be cracking up, bro. We'll have mad fun, cause you just like me, bro. It's shit that I would have thought of. Like, yo, SAH. SAAH. SAAH. Serves as a husband. You know what I'm saying? Holy shit. Yo, man, that shit. Yo, I'm about to get that shit on a t-shirt, bro. SAAH, bro. Service as a husband. Yo, that right there is a new business model, bro. For the single moms, it's like, yeah, I'll do a service as a husband. Whenever you need shit, that they do that shit in Japan. Japan, they pay guys to hang out with girls at a bar. Why we can't go in and, you know, for single moms, we go in and be like, yo, I'll do service as a husband. Here's my business card. Bruh, that shit's fucking hilarious. Yo, you just made me think of a fucking video to make for tonight. Everybody focusing on software as a service. I'm focusing on service as a husband. You get what I'm saying? Like, I provide a service out here. You got a couple of kids. You need your son to learn how to throw a ball. I come in, I do the service as a husband. You need that light bulb change. I come in, I do my service as a husband. Here's my business card. Yo, this is hilarious, bro. Oh, let me see. Guys, I'm about to get out of here because I gotta find my kid. But yeah, man, this, it's a little perk. We over here, this is like a neighborhood facility that they have. It's like a big ass fucking football field, a bunch of shit. It's nice out here. But this is the shit that I work hard for. 10 plus years of me just busting my ass. I wanted my kids to live like this. You know what it is to be sleeping on the couch for 10 plus years? You know what it is when your mom works all day and she never goes to a PTA meeting? I went through it. You know what I'm saying? So I went through that so my kids don't have to go through that. You know what I'm saying? It's like me. Like, why do I work from home? Why do I do my own businesses? I enjoy this shit. I love when my kids come home, they get to see me. I've seen them grow up. That's the biggest perk right there. That's my biggest flex. When somebody comes in like, yeah, I got a couple of kids. I'm like, yeah, but have you seen them grow up though? You know what I'm saying? That's my flex. It's like, yeah, bro. I got one above you, bro. Like, and it's not even about money or nothing. That's my biggest flex. I've been there with my kids. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Software service as a husband right now, man. New services coming around. You could get broad tripping. You could get CodingPhase. Press 1 for CodingPhase. Press 2 for broad tripping. Oh, shit. Word, man. Anyways, guys, I'm about to get out of here. I'm going to see you guys later. Like I said, guys, for those of you guys that want to come to CodingPhase.com, come check it out. Come do what you got to do. Stop playing games. A lot of cool stuff coming out with AI right now, and that's what we're going to be focusing on, okay? I'm going to see you guys later, man. Take care.